Hello, Blaze Academy. My name is Steve Yoder. I am here in place of Provost Benoit, who sends her regrets, but she asked me to pass along how proud of all of you she is for taking this course and almost being finished with this course, and just how important she thinks leadership development programs like this are. Dr. Benoit, of course, is the Chief Academic Officer of the university. That's what provost means. I am the Associate Provost for Academic Administration. I've worked with many of you. Shout out to Craig and Michelle, Julie Keith, Jesse Kepley. Wow, a lot of you. LaShonda, McNair, Carolina, Ashley, Casey, Deanna, Wes Zeck. I'm sorry if I missed anybody on the list, but I'm really proud myself that I am associated with people going through this program. You are the high potential leaders of UAB. Dr. Benoit wanted to chat for a few minutes with you about leadership and about her particular view that collaboration is one of the most important dimensions of leadership. I 100% agree with that. I've actually seen that in action, having reported directly to her now for over 4 years. I think it's part and parcel of what a leader does, and a leader inspires. Inspire is a loaded word, very important concepts in there. Inspire comes from the word spirit, it comes from within. A leader pulls it out of people. Inspiration would be counterposed with motivation, which is more motion and pushing people to do things. Good leaders inspire people to want to do things for themselves, having been around the leader. And some of you, I'm sure, have seen this concept promoted in other places. There's a very famous TED Talk by Simon Sinek that you can look at about the importance of inspiration in leadership. But I thought I would, using Dr. Benoit as an example here and there, elaborate a little bit more on this concept of inspiration. First of all, you as an inspiring leader should think of yourselves as able to inspire. Don't sit back and think, oh, well, that's someone who's larger than life and who has some big important position and has written a book, although many of you have written books. I know Dr. Lewis Maddox has, for example. But you can be an inspiring leader in much more indirect ways than that. First, as far as collaboration, if you are a leader, you should be working with your team. You should be working alongside them. Not always. If you had to do everything that they do alongside them, you wouldn't get the rest of your job done. But they need to see that you are willing to work with them. And importantly, and this is one thing I see with Dr. Benoit, is that the people whom you lead have to see you collaborating with others. If they see you working things out with their peers or their superiors, that is a pretty good signal that you should be doing the same thing. And I see that every day with Dr. Benoit. An inspiring leader should have a clear vision and set of values. Again, that sounds kind of, elusive, but it doesn't have to be some fancy mission statement that you've worked out. You should, however, have a pretty good roadmap of where you expect your particular unit to be going, and you should be referring back to that. You should be acting consistently with UAB's values in all respect, in addition to any that you might have on your own. An inspiring leader sets stretch goals, not unrealistic stretch goals. That would be uninspiring. That would be demoralizing. But a good leader sets goals that are just beyond what you might have done before. For those of you who have an Apple Watch, like I do, they set stretch goals a little bit more than what the watch's algorithm has seen you do in the past. You should be encouraging the people you're leading to develop themselves. That's a good thing. They should be doing things that would allow them to rise, maybe to your job, maybe to another person's job. You shouldn't be threatened by that. After all, that's what you did, and we have to accept that as part of a good, growing organization. You have to acknowledge them. Everybody needs at least a small informal pat on the back. There's a great book called The Progress Principle that says that productivity shoots way up, even if it's just one small thing that someone thinks they've accomplished during the course of the day. You obviously, to do all of the above, the collaboration, the acknowledgement of employees, you do have to carve out time for communication. And I think that means actual conversations with your employees. You can't do everything by an email. Everybody, to one extent or another, craves that direct communication with their boss. You have to be a good listener, and this is one thing that Dr. Benoit is a wonderful role model on. She actually has a PhD in listening. She is an expert in communications. She has a PhD in communications. She's an expert in persuasion, and I have watched that in action many times. She has a great ability in a meeting to listen to everybody for 55 patient minutes as we go around and around the table. And I have to admit that I am not that patient, but that is something that I strive to be better at. And then finally, an inspiring leader, all of the above, I think comes together, will inspire trust in their employees. They will expect that you will follow through on your actions. You will do that, and they see you do it a couple times, and they will come to trust you. And that can be happening in many different ways. If they say they won't tell anybody what you just told them, then they won't tell anybody. But you're going to have to really act with integrity in that regard. So again, Dr. Benoit is very sorry she can't be here in person or even by Zoom today to talk to you. Congratulations on being selected for this wonderful program, and Dr. Benoit and I certainly wish you every success in your professional careers.